Hi everyone, welcome to week 2. Welcome back. So I'm going to try to make this a relatively brief video. It's putting it up here a day late, so if you've already gotten into week 2, this is going to replace the video that you've already seen. So a few things just wanted to review. So we covered the announcement, right? So the study guide 1 feedback and reminder that tonight, Monday, your quiz is due. Your first quiz is due from chapter 1. So hopefully the announcement was fairly straightforward, and I can try to alleviate as much anxiety or angst around these things as possible. Multiple choice is a challenging format, and so it's difficult to have questions and to be in the same frame of mind. What's really key is that you have a reference level for all the material. You have a familiarity with all the concepts. It's obviously difficult to master reading the chapter and reading and watching the PowerPoint and taking a challenging format for exam. So do your best. Again, your minimum is 80%, so this will not be cause for failure. And given the way the point values are weighted, I don't know how badly it would even affect your grade if you got all 80%. So nevertheless, we had one person get 100, one 93, 3 got 86, and then 4 got the minimum. One person did not submit, so there's a 0 there. Try to avoid that, right? So I also tried to clarify questions 1, 8, and 13 were disqualified. So many people got them wrong that there must have been something wrong with the question, must not be a valid question, or must not reflect the material or the instruction. So, but I have a little bit of a clarification here, and then let's just move on. If you have specific questions or if you're really bothered by something, more than happy to talk about it. Don't want to spend a lot of time in this course going back and forth about, well, C could have been correct, or what about B, what about A? Let's just focus on moving forward. But again, I am happy to hear you out if you have a specific concern beyond what I've addressed here. All right, so let's move past that. And again, as a reminder, due tonight is the quiz, so make sure you do that. And then, as I look at this week 1 this week 2, we'll see that this week we're covering chapter 3. There's a PowerPoint reviewed here by Dr. Pratt that we're going to continue his PowerPoint narration. There's no sense in reinventing that, as well as reading chapter 3. And then today is Monday, so Thursday, chapter 3 study guide is due, and then Sunday, the quiz is due. We're working our way to a Wednesday-Sunday cycle, so you're going to get a little bit more time in these, but the pace keeps going. It's also important that you complete your work on chapter 1 and chapter 3 before you attempt discussion board number 1, which is also due coming up this Sunday, the 14th. Because that helps form the basis for writing strong research questions. So, quick review of what is here. As far as resources go, so I mentioned reminders for the reading. I mentioned the dates, the study guide and the quiz, or the quiz, study guide, quiz are due, and discussion board is due. So a lot going on this week. Additional readings, tips, and tools. So some of these are helpful. I would take time to look at these, especially the research paper synopsis. Should be helpful. There's another video here about working through research questions as it relates to the discussion board. There's a few lit review examples as you move forward. Once you're done with the research question, we'll get into literature review. There's the PowerPoint, as I mentioned. There's some library help guide and some library information that, again, funnels right into the lit review. So you kind of have, last week, we have multiple topics here that we're addressing. Let me switch over to the discussion board. I do have one person submitted already. Everything you submit, all your research questions will be visible by all of your classmates. My feedback, you and I go back and forth individually through email so that everyone won't see the feedback. But initially, as you're posting, stop and take a look at other people's research questions. That may help improve the quality of your submission. It may help inform your thinking. So it may inspire another idea. So be aware of that. And again, I'm looking for these, your first submission, or your submission here by Sunday, January 14th. So this is the most important task. After reading chapter 1 and 3, you should have a good basis of what we're looking for. Sometimes questions come from your workplace, things that you're doing. There's some examples here. Or they may just be kind of an ongoing intellectual curiosity. So if you go to the discussion board, you'll find very detailed instructions on how to write your research problem question, the hypothesis, the null hypothesis, and then to create those sub-questions below. Second to lastly, in the discussion forum, there's also an open study group forum here that no one's used yet. I want to remind you, if I can go back, for the quizzes, for the study guides, feel free to work together. And even if you don't know each other personally, or if you haven't exchanged contact information, go on the open study group forum. Subscribe to that, so when someone puts something in, that you'll get an email notification. And go on there and say, listen, number 3, I'm having trouble deciding between B and C. This is my rationale. What do you guys think? Feel free to hash it out and work as a group. Again, these are to facilitate, the study guide and quiz is to facilitate learning, not to create anxiety, not to gotcha. So that learning is important. So use that open study guide forum found here under discussion board. And then lastly, and I promise, and then I'll stop this video, I'm going to create a discussion board, a introductory getting to know you board. We're not going to be face-to-face, and there's not going to be a lot of classroom community per se, but I want to put it out there and get to know you a little bit, because that really helps inform the research. Some of the questions like, why are you taking this course? What do you hope to get out of it? What are your learning goals? And then what's your education, background, history, the job you have, the job you want? Some of those are really key. And then it's also nice to kind of put some personal details in there about, married, single, kids, pets, where do you live, where'd you grow up, some of those things. That's non-graded, non-stressful, but so if anything, as you're cruising through all the work here, if you want to pop in there, add a little bit to your bio just to weigh in on that discussion. That will also be in the discussion board this week as well. If you have any questions, please email me, and just keep working.